I'm Macy Egland. Newsday investigates a former Amityville nurse practitioner accused of faking childhood vaccines. We obtained undercover video from investigators as they looked into Julie DeVono. State regulators say she faked thousands of vaccine records while operating Wild Child Pediatrics, which allowed kids to attend school without the required shots. They've urged Suffolk prosecutors to file criminal charges against her. Coming up, why the Suffolk DA has not pursued charges. A convicted sex trafficker is expected to be sentenced today. Michael Johnson was found guilty in October of trafficking women at the Sayville Motor Lodge. He faces a minimum of 15 years to life in federal prison. Now, a Newsday investigation found dozens of Long Island's hotels and motels are serving as hubs for sex traffickers. You can read more about our in-depth investigation, Unprotected, on Newsday.com. The first step to transforming Melville just got the green light. Huntington's Town Board approved an application for the Melville Town Center Overlay District last night. The plan is to create a walkable downtown along with hundreds of housing units. The developer must now file a formal site plan. This construction is forcing the cancellation of the Riverhead Country Fair. Fencing, barriers, and equipment are currently spread across downtown Riverhead as part of revitalization projects. Last year's fair was also canceled because of an incoming nor'easter. A helping hand for Long Island veterans. Long Island Cares is hosting the first of 4 events at its Hop Hog location from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. Veterans can get help with housing, food, jobs, health care, a free haircut. Other events are being planned over the next several weeks as well. Suffolk County is bringing history alive ahead of the country's 250th birthday. This Revolutionary War exhibit at the H. Lee Dennison Building in Hop Hog is part of a series of events marking the milestone.
It's going to be up for everyone to visit in Suffolk County and learn a little bit about some of the characters that were involved in the American Revolution.
The exhibit is on display through the 23rd. Let's talk about your Wednesday weather now. We could see record-setting temperatures in some spots today. It's been nice out there. Taking a look outside this morning, gorgeous shot here at Main Beach in East Hampton. Beautiful. All right, mostly sunny today, a bit breezy. Highs, though, in the upper 70s for most of the island. If you're headed into the city, a whole lot warmer. Let's talk about tomorrow. Looks and feels a lot like today. Temps again in the mid-70s, so we're staying warm. As we extend to your 7-day forecast here, we are dry for Saturday, a bit cooler. Rain for Sundays in the forecast right now. And then we take a big dip in temperatures for the start of next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
Newsday investigates the undercover videos that helped expose a fake COVID vaccine scheme. Ken Buffa explains how a former Amityville nurse practitioner allegedly faked thousands of vaccine records for children.
Remember that nurse that sold fake COVID vaccine cards and made more than $1 million doing it? Well, Newsday just got their hands on never-before-seen footage of the undercover operation that took her down. And this third video may suggest something that could affect your kids, your grandkids, and countless others. Now, before we show the first video, let's just get caught up on who Julie DeVono is and how authorities say her fraud is costing folks much more than just money.
Julie DeVono is a former nurse practitioner from Amityville who sold COVID cards for money, essentially for people who did not want to get the vaccine but wanted to get a COVID card so they can go to a concert, so they can still work.
It's 2021. The world is finally crawling out of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The vaccine is coming out very, very quickly.
And everyone is urged to get vaccinated. Some don't mind, others want a way to avoid it.
People are scared.
That's where Julie DeVono's practice, Wild Child Pediatrics in Amityville, comes into play. Here, she gave anti-vax Long Islanders a way to avoid the shot, but still get the card.
People would come in, they would pay the money. She would, in exchange for the money, give them their COVID card but without actually using the vaccine.
And it's here we take a look at our first video.
See, I mean, he knows I'm totally against the whole vaccine bull. But he's like, you know, he doesn't know my business.
This is footage from a hidden camera pinned to an undercover cop. He's in DeVono's office asking her if he can send a buddy over to get a vaccine card the way he did.
He thinks I have the real vaccine.
Right, thinks you begrudgingly got it.
No, yeah, exactly. So he's saying, can I get it? So I'm like, let me talk to her and see.
DeVono gives him some rules.
Just tell him that we only do it for families and that you have a niece or cousin who's a patient of the practice.
Gotcha.
I actually had to sign something. In order to administer COVID vaccines, I promise that I am not going to charge a penny out of pocket. No co-pays, no co-insurance.
Listen, it was worth $440.
I had a guy come and try to do that. He's like, I don't understand why you're charging me. You know, I know this costs you nothing. I'm like, you want to know what my lawyer charges me to be on retainer?
DeVono says the price for her service is rising.
Listen, $440 to not get the shot is well worth it.
And that was before January 1st. We raised it to $350.
I got in just in time.
Got in.
This scheme goes on for months.
She did this for thousands. I mean, the number is somewhere in the 4,000 range is what she estimates it as.
And that leads us to video 2. Officials say thousands of clients paying hundreds of dollars adds up to more than $1 million. And if you're wondering what she did with the real vaccine doses that she was not injecting,
she has said that she would just throw it right into the garbage.
It's 2022. Cops arrest DeVono and another employee of hers, and they search her home. They find $900,000 in cash.
She would take the cash home and put it in a duffel bag. She took $200-something thousand, paid off her mortgage, her half of the mortgage. She took something like $80,000, bought cold coins. She admitted to all this. These were all ways that she was trying to take the cash and was trying to use it before they can find that cash.
1 year later, she pleads guilty to money laundering, forgery, and filing false records. The judge orders her to return $1.2 million in profits, surrender her nursing license, close her clinic.
Instead of doing any jail time, though, she will serve 840 hours of community service and be on probation for 5 years.
She was offered an opportunity at her sentencing to give a speech. She chose not to. Where she gave her speech was outside the courthouse.
When a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey, but he is morally obligated to do so.
DeVono has since moved out of state and is now living in Pennsylvania. And this is where you'd think the story ends. Well, it doesn't. Because before this whole COVID vaccine scam happened, authorities say DeVono was lying about giving kids required vaccines. So let's talk about video 3. You see all those black squares, the ones blocking out children? We can't say for sure these particular kids are affected, but it turns out the state health department and the Department of Education say when it comes to kids, Julie DeVono is a name they already know.
The Department of Education received 2 complaints about Julie DeVono. One from the head of immunizations for the health department, and one from a Cohen Children's Medical Center doctor. They both said, hey, we think Julie DeVono is committing pediatric vaccine fraud.
Let's talk about 2019, because that's the year there was a big measles outbreak, and New York State decided they're going to end religious exemptions for vaccines, which meant that the only way your kid can go to public school, private school, pre-K, daycare, was if they were vaccinated, or if they had a medical excuse.
17 years as a nurse, 0 vaccinations. So the state repeals the religious exemption, the number shoots up to more than 7,000. So that's the thing that really shocked me when I saw that number, 000, boom, goes through the roof.
And if the number of shots were not shocking enough, officials say where the clients came from was.
People were driving from Montauk or near Albany and in the Hudson Valley just to get their kids vaccinated, which for a lot of people doesn't make sense.
On top of that, a kid gets sick.
So a kid came to the hospital with mumps-related facial swelling, and the hospital was told by the parent, oh, yeah, this kid's vaccinated. Hospital did blood tests, and the kid was not vaccinated.
The New York State Education Department charges DeVono with misconduct for incomplete vaccination records and hits her with a $500 fine, but she can continue to practice.
Essentially charges her with a slap on the wrist, and that she agrees to be censured and reprimanded, and she gets a $500 fine. Everything's done with that case. 2024, everything is not done with. The State Health Department investigates further. They begin to review school records and subpoena more than 200 schools. And all this is happening while the State Department of Health is urging prosecutors to charge DeVono for allegedly lying about these kids getting vaccinated. The thing is, prosecutors say bringing those charges is not that easy.
The type of evidence we need to do a criminal investigation is different than what they could proceed on administratively. And our burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, and their burden of proof is preponderance of the evidence. We had no evidence of that. No evidence. No competent evidence which we could use in either a grand jury or a criminal court of law. We would have to actually have someone in that room to be able to say, on such and such a date, this person didn't receive a shot, or the shot that they got didn't contain that which it was claimed to be.
So what happens now? Well, state health officials are still investigating. They're still pursuing administrative charges that could carry fines reaching in the millions of dollars.
Every false vaccination, and a false vaccination is not a child, it's each vaccination. So a false polio vaccination is one charge, which could be up to $2,000 each. So that could lead to millions of dollars in fines against DeVono.
And kids right now, all over the state and beyond, could be exposed.
So we rely on a certain percentage of the population to be vaccinated to protect the most vulnerable among us.
Doctors worry if an outbreak does happen and records are not right.
There's a ticking clock, especially for after a measles exposure. And if we don't have the correct information, we may make assumptions that someone is protected when they're not.
Look, vaccines have been a pretty touchy subject for a while, and officials say they understand that. But
decisions matter. And if we as a society don't tell the truth in those instances, that can lead to some very dangerous consequences.
And although these alleged decisions were made by parents years ago, officials say it just goes to show you a decision for one can affect us all.
The argument from pediatricians we've talked to is that you're sort of lying to those parents when you're saying that my kid's vaccinated and they're really not.
We're in 2026 now. The COVID pandemic feels like ages ago, and we're still talking about this nurse. And that's not because of the COVID fraud. It's because it's another layer and layer and layer of allegations of other fraud that's still playing out today with Long Island families.
You can read more about these allegations surrounding DeVono and where the case stands now on Newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. Only in Newsday, a Deer Park surgeon is accused of performing unnecessary surgeries on drivers and a passenger in alleged staged car crashes. That's according to a wide-ranging lawsuit filed last week by FedEx. Now, the suit claims spinal surgeon Dr. Alexios Apazidis and 24 physicians, lawyers, and medical professionals conspired to bilk the delivery company through a staged accident scheme and inflated medical bills. Newsday's Robert Brodsky breaks it down.
Among those doctors that were named was Dr. Alexios Apazidis. He's an orthopedic surgeon from Deer Park who is accused of performing unnecessary spinal and cervical surgeries on both drivers and passengers who were involved in allegedly staging these motor vehicle crashes. He has been accused of using the identical operative report language in 43 different surgeries. Often for patients he performed surgeries on at Nassau University Medical Center, that's a safety net hospital in East Meadow. So he's found himself in multiple lawsuits. He's been sued multiple times and had his license previously suspended. However, the health department did stay that suspension after he paid a fine. There is an investigation going on, or there is a request for investigation that's going on, seeking the State Health Department to revoke Dr. Apazidis' license.
You can read more about the alleged scheme on Newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. Only a Newsday. It dominated the headlines in the 90s. The shooting of a wife in Massapequa and the scandalous affair that led up to it. The story of Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco is this week's Picture This. A local scandal that made international headlines.
At the time, it was obviously a huge story for Long Island, for Newsday.
After a husband's betrayal and an attack on his wife, a young woman is dubbed the Long Island Lolita.
I don't think it gets more scandalous than that.
May 19, 1992, 17-year-old Amy Fisher shows up at Joey Buttafuoco's Massapequa home and confronts his wife, Mary Jo, telling her about a year-long affair between the teen and 36-year-old Joey. After an argument here on Adam Road West, Mary Jo turns to go back inside the house, and that's when Amy pulls out a pistol and shoots her in the face.
Did she think that she could get rid of Mary Jo and then marry Joey? I just didn't quite understand her motives at the time, and probably because she was a teenager, she didn't really understand them at the time either.
Police at the time called it a near-fatal attraction. Mary Jo miraculously survives, the bullet still lodged in her jawbone, and is able to describe her attacker. Amy Fisher admits her crime to police and later testifies against Joey in exchange for a lighter sentence.
I did attend the trial. I followed it very closely.
Fisher faced 5 to 15 years behind bars.
She only served 7 of those years, in part because Mary Jo actually pleaded on her behalf with the parole board, saying that she felt that Amy had shown real remorse.
Joey, meanwhile, was sentenced to 6 months for statutory rape. The Buttafuocos moved away and eventually divorced, but all three stayed in the spotlight and continued to make media appearances. The South Shore scandal still finds its way into the headlines. It was recently recreated in a Lifetime movie. You can read more about the Buttafuoco case and watch more Picture This segments on our website, Newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. Only a Newsday. Today is tax day, and many Long Islanders are getting bigger refunds this year. Virginia Huey finds out how they're spending it.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get my refund.
Jared Smith of Freeport is among the early income tax filers seeing bigger refunds this year. The Republican tax cuts in the 2025 One Big Beautiful Bill Act are driving the bump. They include eliminating taxes on some overtime and tipped income, as well as lifting the cap on the deduction for state and local taxes, or SALT, from $10,000 to $40,000.
Everybody on Long Island is getting more because of the SALT cap getting raised.
More than 71% of tax returns nationwide have received a refund in 2026 so far, with the average refund coming in at over $3,500.
First time after 3 years. I'm very happy for that.
After years of owing the IRS, Effie Carahalios knows what she'll spend her refund on.
Probably food. Yeah.
Why food?
Because I have extra money, so I can buy anything more.
Tywell Miller of North Amityville says he'll spend his refund on sprucing up his house.
I'll probably do landscaping on the house. Me and the wife talked about doing landscaping.
Other early filers feel their refunds are being canceled out by the higher prices they're paying in the supermarket and at the pump.
Gas is crazy right now.
Melanie Mergentime of Syosset says she's using her refund for gas, food, and bills.
No pleasures. Just making up to make ends meet.
Linda of Syosset says she's putting her refund away for a rainy day.
We're going to bank it. The way things are, very unsure, economy shaky. So we are going to just put it aside for that rainy day, which I'm sure is coming.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Read more about tax season on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. See more on all of these stories on Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other streaming services you see here. I'm Macy Eglund. We've got more local news coming up.
Only in Newsday. New York State health officials urged the Suffolk DA to charge a Long Island nurse with pediatric vaccine fraud.
The hospital was told by the parent, this kid's vaccinated. Hospital did blood tests. Kid was not vaccinated.
Newsday investigates why those charges were never filed.
The type of evidence we need to do a criminal investigation is different than what they could proceed on administratively.
The vaccine probe that never happened. Now available at Newsday.com/shot.